YouTube. Oh, wow. How quickly I got on live today. Peace, YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming to you today to discuss another topic of discussion. Let me turn off my phone because usually my live streams get interrupted when I'm on. So I'll wait until a couple of people check in. I know I'm all crooked. Let me fix myself on live stream. Do you like, isn't it beautiful? Remember last show? Hey, Entitled Sensei, remember last show they cut me off for having this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? Yes, yes. I love this. Isn't it gorgeous? Hey, Cadillac, I haven't heard from you for a while. Hey, lady, vegan. Hey, Kinky Curl. Kinky Curl, you just told me about the hail this morning. Thank you. Was it you who told me? Yeah, just now. I just read it. Hey, oh, isn't it beautiful? My sea stars. My sea stars are the baddest sea stars in the galaxy. Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. Yeah, Kinky Curl. I just actually looked at the. I actually looked at northern California, so the hail. Thank you for giving me a heads up. You got the notification? Finally, notification. Because I'm not really discussing it. As long as I'm not talking about certain things, they'll let me talk. Peace, peace, everyone. I wanted to make a quick video. What's up, General Mosquito? Hey, Lynn. I love your emails, Lynn. I was reading some stuff, so Lynn, we should talk. Anyway, look at this guy. Look at my double dragon. Remember they cut me off last time, so I can't really show you what my double dragon represents because last time they cut off my live stream. So yes, family, check on in. Check on east to the west, the north, and the south. No, it's not a wand. I can't show you actually what it is. Anyway, so I wanted to actually make this kind of generate this discussion. Isn't it beautiful? Yes. You know, FleurBrun is. I do explain to you that as much as I'm a lover and a loving soul, I am as much a lover as I am a warrioress. So at the end of the day, I sit well on both sides of the same coin. My shadow sits very well in direct alignment with my higher self. So for that reason, you know, I'm prepared for whatever comes at me, any direction it comes. So I wanted to discuss this because I was talking to some of my sea stars and many of you. I don't know if she wants me to blow her spot, but anyway, a lot of you are having itchiness, just not one. You remember two gunshot? Obviously, two gun Shogun. You know what it is. Your name details it. You remember. I'm not gonna garnish it because they'll shut down my live again, and I don't want to have it. No, it's something special. If you saw my live the other night, you know what this is. Anyway, so I'm sorry. I'm so inappropriate. I'm such a mom. I don't really care. So listen, I wanted to make this live stream because I was having some discussions with my other sea stars, and we were discussing a lot of the warrioress energies are coming online. A lot of you are in the ether battling. Draconians, lower field reptilians, you're going ham. You're going left, right. Some of you are coming out with bruises. I think I have bruises on my forearm. I mean, we're battling up in the ether. And it's all of the sea stars who are vested and came here and are well equipped to deal with the adversity, to deal with the backlash of the patriarchy going down and some not willing to let go of their power. So I wanted to kind of stimulate this conversation with the sea stars that the mothership is always prepared for battle. Remember that. Mothership is always prepared for battle. And I realized this probably more so the day I gave birth to my first child. And many mothers will have this realization as we go through the gestational process, when we're pregnant, we go through the ebbs and flows of changing, of our bodies actually morphing and aligning and opening a stargate to allow for our soul to be come to fruition and to release that soul out into the matrix, into the world that we exist. And for that reason, many of us realize upon our first contraction that we were made to last, and we are allotted to endure pain in a way that will propel us to battle for our offspring and our families and our planet. And for this, I wanted to kind of talk about the fact of the matter is that, many, like I said, many of our sea stars are often either having battles. Some of you are seeing yourselves in coliseums. Some of you are seeing yourselves battling with draconians up in swamps with the alligator people. Some of you are seeing the reptilians trying to choke you out in your bed. Some of you are seeing entities coming left and right for you, leaving apparitions on your body. And I just wanted to reassure you that if you came here and you incarnated at this time as a sea star, as one of ours in this famille, you were made and created to endure and to succeed and win the battle that's ensuing in this age of Aquarius coming online. So, as far as worrying and having, a lot of the sea stars are waking up with anxiety and they don't know where it's coming from, is because they're fighting. They're having battles. Literally, if you're some of you are waking up with, like, even my matrix mom woke up last night with heart palpitations. Yes, it could be health issues. Yes, it could be a couple of other things, but I'm telling you, for the most part, what as above, so below. Whatever we endure in the ether comes into fruition on this earth plane. And a lot of times we don't see what is going on behind the curtains. We're not seeing, until later on, as it comes in for, as it comes online after, because everything happens in spirit first, and then it comes online and it comes into the field of what we consider to be the matrix, or 4D, 3D, wherever you exist. My daughter woke up with sore. She was fighting a reptilian wool, and I'm saying it's on and popping right now up in the ether. And many of our warrioresses are going to coliseums. You'll get prepared, many of you. And this is interesting that Black Panther came on the set, and there's so much controversy about a movie. That's a movie, but it has a lot of energetic undertone. Or rather, it has a lot of energetic undertone, because as you saw, the women warrioresses were actually in the forefront, just like Wonder Woman. They were in the forefront. They were the most lethal of the warriors. Yes, the men existed and there were warriors that were men, but notice who was being mostly placed up front. Notice who they were placing in the forefront of battles, and it wasn't, and mind you, family, there were many men warriors. How many of those female warriors did you see? You didn't see many, because they didn't need to be many, because they were equipped to deal with whatever came against them in every single way. No, hell has no fury like a woman scorned. Okay? And there's a testament to that. She doesn't have to be scorned. She just has to be threatened and take on the antage of being a mother. And I'll go back to what I was stating, is that I never really realized how much credence or how much strength I had until I gave birth to my child. And once I went through the process of giving forth birth in a time where maybe the energies around were not necessarily cohesive, because again, we're not giving birth in our natural state of being. A lot of times we are, this whole field of 3D is distress. So a mother giving birth, even in a best situation, is still, she's giving birth at a time when there's a lack of naturopathic support during this time. Normally when we gave birth, and I love how even I hear my Russian and Serbian girlfriends talked about, some of the women that were less privileged and considered to be poor, they would go in the fields and they would squat and give birth to their children very quickly, and take the babies inside and nurture them and go back to business. This is what we were made for. So when people tell you that you're not strong enough, that you're not smart enough, that you have lack of wit and cunningness to deal with any of the onset of war coming upon us that's already ensuing, you tell them to kick rocks, because you were made, the mothership was made to be able to battle all scenarios. Why do you think they have motherships all around, cloaking around the planet? It is the mothership that disperses the other subships, but it is the mothership who has all of the equipment, all of the battle apparatus, all of the necessary tools, whether it be little ships or drones or what have you, to be able to deal with whatever comes to her. So I want you to understand, my wonderful sea stars, that please be assured that you are created and made for whatever occurs right now. Like I said, there's a spiritual battle underway. It's already occurring. And for that reason, preparation had already been made. You know, people were saying, well, should you prepare? No, you've been prepared. You've been prepared since 2012. Many of you have been prepared since 2000 and since the towers fell for the first triggering. So many of you have already been prepared. Fleur, do you know about the cloud line on the earth? On Google Earth? The cloud line? What's that? King Ezekiel, what's the cloud line? No, I don't. Can you make me privy of it? And while I'm waiting, so I know this is going to be a very secure team has a video about it. Can you tag me on it, King Ezekiel, if you don't mind? If you could tag me on it or just add it to, can you add it to one of the videos? I'd love it. Secure team notice a cloud line that ends. Oh, wait a second. Yes. No, I know what you're talking about because someone, there was a couple videos up yesterday. Yes, the cloud line. Yes, I'm aware. I did not actually look at it and go totally into it. I know I got videos and it was explained. They were explaining what the cloud line is and what it looks like. Isn't it that line coming straight out of the cloud straight down like a spear? Wasn't that it? Okay. That was it. Well, there's a couple. I can't speak. I don't want to speak out of term because remember, I'm a Sag, and you know I don't want to talk about something until I vest it out. I saw it. I'm not quite sure what it is. In my first mind, I think it's something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's true. So let me take a look at it and kind of vest it out. Maybe I'll come back and talk about it on the platform, or I'll bring it up on Thursday show on Aquarius Rising. So we'll talk about it. There's a lot of cloaked ships in California right now. So we were thinking that there was some sort of preparation, then the hail came. See, now most of you don't know. Thank you, Kinky Curl. Kinky Curl contacted me. Kinky Curl, most of you don't. Well, some of you do know. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Most of you do know that a lot of times when there's cloaked ships around, you'll get a change in temperature because of the condensation. So the hail is an indication of ships. Of mothership, well, usually a mothership per couple miles, because motherships can be as big as cities or sometimes countries. That's how huge they are, and they usually don't come that close to the surface because they'll cause permeations in the magnetic field. So they generally don't do that. So when you start seeing hail, watch all your space movies, watch all the shows about space. You'll see that sometimes hail is accompanied before a craft is about to land, or if it's close to the surface of the wherever it's cloaking itself. So we know that there's a whole bunch of cloaked ships right now in California, especially in Northern California. So I assumed whenever you're seeing or there's indication of that many ships in close proximity that there's going to be some sort of natural disaster or earthquake. Yeah, because for some reason, like I said, whenever the ships start showing up in cloaking, now remember, we have energetic people who could see the ships. Many of you see the decloaked ships. You can decloak them if based on the fact that once you're self-aware and you have a heightened sense of awareness and your third eye is pretty unveiled, you can see the ships. Actually, you can hear them. Your body changes. You'll see the birds. A lot of times you'll see the birds go wacky, especially blackbirds. They're more sensitive to the ships, the magnetic energy. So you'll see the animals changing. Sometimes you'll hear the cicadas go crazy. It's during the time when it's cloaking of ships, but the hail is an indication of ships, and it verifies that there were ships in Northern California. Now, we assumed whenever you get that fleet of ships in that small area, that there's about to be a natural disaster or some sort of earthquake or some sort of tsunami, something. Because generally right before a big event is when they cloak themselves and they stay around the area. They do studies, they watch events. A lot of them are just, historians. So yeah, the lightning changes colors. Absolutely. So I just, I don't know We don't know how it's going to show up, but it could be indication of that line coming in from the surface. I'm not quite sure. Now, you've got a whole bunch of different groups of people connected to different ET groups. A lot of people have been experiencing, like on the show the other night, which could be connected to the subject. I had that bowing sound in my ear, that deep vibrational sound, which is not a ping or the loud binging in the ears. It was deep, and that's usually an indication of bigger ships. So be careful. Yeah, the birds will detail if there's ships around. Watch the birds, listen to the insects. That's another detail. And usually you will see hail or condensation, the way that the condensation kind of surfaces to, whether it's snow, whether it's, usually it's not so much rain, it's usually hail that you get. So it's usually interesting. Forewarned is forearmed. I agree, Lynn. I agree with you, Lynn. So I just wanted to talk to our sea star, saying that if you had any doubt that you were unable to deal with the times that we're in, I'm here to verify and to give you some reaffirmation that you are. You wouldn't be here right now if you weren't the best of the bad. We've got the best of the good and best of the bad, if you're going to put it in judgment. We have the best of both. So for you to be here in incarnation at this particular time, at the time we're going to battle, you have the religious war in the Matrix, the religious war going toe to toe. You got the Christians going against the Muslims, Islam against Christianity. That's going to be pretty much the investment in the Third World War. It will be sparked by that whole religious, that'll be the front. It's going to be the forefront before a pole shift. They're going to put that front out there to distract people. And just be mindful, all of this inciting with all these political agendas, just be mindful to keep a strong arm distance from judging those, because a lot of these things are meant to keep you from really realizing that there are other things happening. Like I said, a lot of times they're doing one thing and they're doing it in this direction, and meanwhile they're doing their dirt in that direction. So just be mindful. If you see them throw a rock this way, make sure you turn the other way. Whatever direction they threw the rock, don't look at the rock thrown. Look at the direction where the person standing who threw the rock. That's where the real meat and potatoes is going down. That's where all the real stuff is going down. It's all distraction. Thank you, Lady Vegan. It's all distraction. And also note that, family, many of you are feeling the ebbs and flow of the change. Now, feminine consciousness is divine feminine is online. The matriarchy's here. They're contacting their own. Many of the matriarchy facets, including the Pelagians, are contacting their own. A lot of the native groups, the indigenous groups, are getting what we call intel dreams. So many of you who are coming and connected to the Pelagians, which are connected to the Blackfoot Indian, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, there's so many. The Sioux. I think the Sioux is also connected to Pelagians. Also, a lot of the groups in New Zealand and the Aboriginal. Just notice that you guys are getting they're getting a lot of prophetic dreams. They're getting dreams about the earth movements. The Chickasaw. They're getting a lot of dreams about the earth movement, the waterways changing. So, follow those modes. Whatever is meant to come to you will come in the mode of dreams a lot of times. And it will propel you to do things that ordinarily you weren't able to do. Like a lot of people here in Florida are not feeling comfortable being in Florida anymore. Well, the Florida shooting is a sign. That's a trigger. First of all, it's a smoke and mirrors kind of thing. That's a trigger. That's telling people. See, what the Dark Cabal does, and I was going to make a video, but I'm going to save that one. I got a video to make. Listen, what the Dark Cabal does is when they want to tell people to leave, they will give mass shootings or triggers to go somewhere. So whenever that shooting happened, and again, I'm a mother. My condolences for any parent who lost their children there, regardless if it's a false flag or not, because we heard it was more than one shooter. So regardless of what it was, if in fact children lost their lives, which in fact we know that they did, my condolences to that. But I will tell you that was a trigger. That was a signal, like a smoke signal that some of the groups used to do to tell them to move or to relocate. That was a smoke signal to those in Florida. That's what I took it as. So As far as I know, this is my personal opinion now. I can't say for sure, and I always tell you when I know something for sure and when I kind of know something. From my perspective, I personally feel like that was a smoke signal to tell certain groups to get out of Florida, especially near the coastlines. That's what I felt. I felt like it was promoting that. That now I could be wrong, but it was the way I felt. I felt like, okay, they're telling people to get out because remember, there's very wealthy people in Miami and around that county, especially around the waterways. A lot of the wealthier, I don't call them elite, those who live on the coastline, they have beautiful homes on the water. So a lot of times they talk to each other via the internet and the media. They speak to each other. They give each other signs and signals. So I think that was a smoke signal for people to get out of Florida, certain parts of Florida. Okay, so that's just, we'll know in the next couple weeks, but that's how I felt. So I could be wrong, but I watch a lot of things and I see how directions. New York has too many of the snakes. And I don't mean snakes in a good way. New York has a lot of the Satanists and Luciferian sect. When they leave is your sign to leave New York. I always tell people, you'll know when to leave New York. When all of those, because we have a lot of celebrity, I'm a New Yorker. When you have a lot of celebrities, you have a lot of the dark about the Satanist sect. I mean, the deepest satanic sect is there. That's one of their hubs. So when you start seeing Luciferians and Satanists, they're different sects. When you start seeing them leave, that's your trigger to go. Because when they leave, and they may not overtly make that, like the fact that Wendy Williams is taking 2 weeks off, that should be a concern for you. Because she's never taken a day off, even if it's her biobot. You know what I mean? When I see things like that, I'm just giving you, listen, family, I give you all of what my mindset is and how I think. And this I share with you openly and freely. Whenever I see people, like when I see something odd, like Wendy Williams has never taken a day off since her career. I think even when she had her son, when she was pregnant, her real Wendy Williams was pregnant, she was actually in bed rest on the radio at the same time. But this is the first time I'm seeing her. I know there's some supposedly health issues. I'm just saying, that's what they said. I listen, I personally don't know her personally. I'm just saying, but I do know staffers. Anyway, I'm just saying, if you start seeing people like her taking 2 weeks off, and that's not what she does, I would just be mindful. Because even with the intel that we got from Project Looking Glass, from the, what are they? They're the, there's like a group of melanated women. They're working in a group. They're doing they're doing Project Looking. They're looking at futuristic views. I forgot what they're called. They're on YouTube. They did the projection that something big was going to happen in Manhattan, as far as a plane crash with some snow. So those flying in, and I fly in and out of New York sometimes. So be mindful flying in and out of New York. It was like some sort of plane crash that they saw, and they think it was an urban area, either like New Jersey. Remote viewing. Thank you, Peace XOS. They do the remote viewing, and they said something about something happening around an urban area, which could be New York and New Jersey. It could be Chicago as well. But there was something going on. So, be mindful, be vigilant. Like I said, always follow. I learned this from Dr. Delbert Blair. I learned this, and I really had to train myself to follow my first mind. The first mind that tells you what to do prior to you leaving your house, and sometimes you ignore it. The mind that tells you not to go somewhere or to go somewhere. The prior mind that says, oh, maybe I need to bring my phone, and then somebody calls you important. That mind. The first mind. So follow your first mind, because your first mind is always, that is your foresight. That is actually your sixth sense. Always follow your first mind. I just give you that as a gift of a mother. I've learned that even with my little ones. So follow your first mind. Please say the name slowly. What name? Anyway, I know I'm sidebarring. I always start off with a topic. I always go all off on tangents, and I so apologize. Hey, Selma, please, 1 + 3. So motherships. Let me explain something, my loves. You will always have what you need at the time you need it. We're in the battle zone right now. And the patriarchy is not leaving without a fight. And I just want you to know that you are supported by the divine feminine coalition, and you are supported by being in home court advantage that gives you that extra, that is necessary for you to make it over a hurdle that normally you could never make it over. So if you thought for a second that you were in a position of deficit, I'm here to remind you, my beautiful sea stars, my mothers, my grandmothers, my aunties, my sisters, my daughters, my nieces, that you are fine, you are well equipped, and you have all necessary to handle any of the adversity that comes at you at this particular time. Meaning that when they come to party with you, when they come to pony up and test you, they will be met with force. Not just with you, but the posse of sea stars that back you in the ether, that show up in the ether, so these beasts know that you're not coming alone. You're coming with a host of power and also your online abilities that come with you being in home court advantage. The males know it. Peace to our sun stars. We love you. As long as you keep in your place and you don't test us. Keep in the balance of being healthy and cohesive with us, and you will have zero problems. Listen, don't start no one be none. If you're good with me, I'm good with you. If you come any sort of way that's less than appropriate and respectful, you too, sir, will be met with force. I hope that's understood. Because if you thought that you were going to sleep on us, if you thought that you were going to get away with putting your hands on us, if you thought you were going to get away for child molesting, if you thought you were going to get away for trafficking women, if you thought you were going to get away for being a womanizer, you were sadly mistaken. Because you're in the wrong arena. Watch Black Panthers. Watch Wonder Woman. Look at what we are coming with. And that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning. We just started home court advantage. The games have not truly begun, sun stars. So, like one of the gentlemen who was coming to war with, the same young lady who plays, she plays in what is it? The zombie movie. And then she's the lead warrioress in, of course, in Black Panthers, right? Michonne, which I told you who she's a representative as an Andromedan, okay? When you know that this is coming on Walking Dead, thank you, Deshonda. When you know that this is coming online, like, listen, you already know, men come from me. And I remember, my mate was saying to me last night, my mate was saying to me that I'm more lethal than him. And I was like, you have to be joking. He's like, no. He said, you're more lethal than I. He was like, I'll come, him as a man, he's a warrior in nature. Like I said, he was growing up in Kingston. He's an OG. He's about that life. Okay. So he just stated that he was like, as sweet as I may appear, notice he said appear, that he feels that I'm more venomous than he. I thought it was a compliment, and he wasn't playing. So I do take on that antage. I'm okay with, like I said, I'm one of the most loyal, loving sea stars mother figures that you will ever see. If you want to leave your children with anyone, you leave them with FleurBrun. They will eat well, non-GMO. I will not let them watch their ratchet television, and I will love them. That's one thing that I hold. There is zero people in this world who have ever met me who said they wouldn't leave, hands down, I would be the first person they leave their child with. That lets you know what type of individual I am. That lets you know how protective and loving and honoring I am. That's just who I am at my core. That's how I was built. But the second point why they would leave their children with me, because they know if anybody comes for theirs, I don't care if that child is from my womb or not, They're going to be met with force. If they look at that child crooked, if they try to touch a child, if they even make a word that makes me think sideways, I'm coming for them. So that's also a reason why I'm okay to hold that ansage that I am love and I am war all in one thickum package. I am. And I accept that. It is something that I may have struggled with because I have a lot of that interchange, and it can turn at the drop of a dime. And I've had people who sit, comfortably with me, and as soon as I see a shadow or something that's crazy about them, I check them. I check them like a pimp does a prostitute when his money's not right. I do. I just do that. So it's my personality. But at the same point, I want you to acknowledge that all of the sea stars right now, you all have that in you. You all have that personality in you. You all have the ability to be an angel and the devil all in one package. And you have to own that. You don't fight that. Because I think a lot of times within patriarchy, they made it seem like we were not allowed to acknowledge that. Like if we were too strong, we were too manly. And it has nothing to do with manly. A warrioress will battle for her babies to her death. Do you ever see a mother in nature not battle for her babies? I've seen animals die, literally battle to where they can't even walk and kill for their children. I've seen it. What makes you think that because we're such nurturers that we don't have the component? Because the best nurturers are the most protective. We don't have the component to protect ourselves and our offspring. So I say this to you because the mothership is always prepared for battle. So please, sea stars, don't allow these nonsense males who have nothing but negative things to say to you, who are not supportive, who want to make you feel like you're less than capable of defending and preparing yourself and caring for your offspring if force is met. You have everything necessary. Your mothership was prepared from birth. That is why we hold all the eggs inside of us and they are safe until we die. And even after we die, there's a certain period of time that they can extract our eggs and our eggs will still be efficient to create life. So best know that you are always prepared for everything that they come for you. So don't try to, I keep stay away from the negations. Try to hold that without fear. Fear is the fear of dying. You are everlasting. Your soul has incarnated here back to back. And if they hurt you and harm you and you leave this shell, best believe you'll be incarnated and pay their asses back in another life. So don't worry about going down any other way but honorably, with integrity, because your heart will be weighed like Mayat says. The laws of Mayat says your heart will be weighed against the feather. If you go out protecting yourself and your offspring and your planet, and you're upholding integrity and light, you will have a badge of honor and you will come back in lifetimes and it will be beautiful. So make sure that you honor yourself and your principles and your integrity at all times. Don't worry about thinking about harm, because that is just a sidebar of what they want to perpetuate in your mind. It's unnecessary. You said relax. Why should I relax? I'm relaxed all the time. This is the problem. Some of you are too relaxed. Some people are too relaxed. See, when you see someone showing passion, when you see someone amped up, what does that make you feel? Why do you fear that? That's the way we're supposed to be. And I just want to let you know that if I was all apathetic and apathetic, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't even have this conversation because I'd be so weird. I'd be so scared that the PTA would see the mom talking about ETs. I would be so scared that I couldn't get a husband or a boyfriend because I was so eccentric. I would be so scared that, oh my God, who are these people, these strangers looking? No, I don't care. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm being me. I'm keeping it 1,000. When you meet me in person, I'm just this way. I'm as cool and calm and collective and as fired up as you see me on this screen. And if you have a problem with it, you can meet me too. At the coffee shop. Just make sure you get my coffee right. Fire in the yard. Starbucks, yeah, you can meet me at Starbucks. As long as you meet me at my own playground, we all good in the hood. I'm a triple Sag. I'm all fire. I don't have any other element helping me out. So when I'm amped up, I got targets everywhere, and I'm good. I'm a good shot. So when I come for somebody, I'm mark on. Yeah, I'm silly. You notice I get all hot when I start talking all kinds of ways. Anyway, so I just, I want to give that power, and I want to send it to my sea stars. I want to give you that. I want to send you and extend some of that fire in you, because I hear some of the dismay, and sometimes I hear the lack of like courage. Like, I think sometimes you lack the knowledge or the what's the word? Like, you feel like you don't have what's necessary, and you do. I'm telling you, like I said, some of you, I could be your mommy. I'm telling you as a mother, I'm telling you as a sister, I'm telling you as an auntie, I'm telling you as maybe even someone's grandmother. I'm telling you that you have, that's all necessary. You would not be here right now if you did not. It is a fact. The best and the baddest are here on earth to play it out. It's already happened in the ether. It's showing up here in the physical. And you have everything necessary. So don't call other people. Don't go and pay all your money to speak to a psychic to hear everything that I've already told you for free. Okay? Because some of you will go to third parties just to get solidification that you're right on mark. You're right on mark because you're here. You're in this conversation. You're already feeling this way. You're already engaged in the world in a more realistic way. You're no longer sitting with a veil over your eyes, thinking that everything is what they tell you it is. You already have that self-awareness. Have enough confidence and a certainty about yourself that to know that you have everything necessary. Stop going to third parties to verify what you already in your heart know. That's it. I could save you the $50 right now. Yeah, I could save it to you. I could save it for you. Oh, Hexa Purple. The purple field is coming up because once we initiated our shield, it permeated. As you see, it's permeating everywhere. Even Satanists are starting to use some of our purple because they're trying to flip mode it. They're trying to field off the energy, and they can't because it's going to turn against them. Anytime they mock us with purple and white, which is our divine shield color, it's going to turn against them. So they could do it all day, but it's only going to cause more havoc in their life because they're not sitting in the conditions or in the field of positivity and love and protectiveness and nourishment that is for. The hexagon is actually sacred geometry showing up to it actually unlocks codons. The hexagon usually unlocks codons in you, specific codons. Usually the hexagon is an unlocking of abilities. So if you're seeing hexagons, especially the purple fields, which is connected to the divine feminine shield that we've collectively come together and created, it usually is going to unlock something. Either you're going to start coming online with more telepathy on point. You may have somebody. I could talk about it because I'm not going to mention their name. Somebody has the ability to cloak. There's a couple of you beings who do that. I met someone who cloaked and I saw them do it. Some of you are cloaking. You have the ability. You ever walk in a room and some of you don't even know you're cloaking? I'll give you an example. And I shouldn't do this live. I'll just do it once because some of you don't even know you're doing it. Because I know it's more than one person. Like I've met windbenders, elementals that windbenders, airbender. I met an airbender. I talked to him online. But some of you cloak. So how does it that you know that you're cloaking? You ever walk in a room that everybody knows you and nobody sees you? And some of you get insulted like, oh my gosh, they don't see me, how disrespectful. No. I'm not supposed to tell you that. I'll just give you that little hint. I can't say anymore. Listen to me, family. Some of it's happened to you before. You've walked in a room with people who know you and they don't see you. And you get insulted because you're like, what the heck? Like, you don't see me? And I didn't see you in there because you cloaked for about 30 seconds or 20 seconds. They didn't see you. That's what the ninjas get trained in. So I just want to give you that little sidebar because some of you don't know that you're doing it. I know a cloaker who does it on point, like they could do it where I can't see them. And it's ability. So just know I gave you a little hint for those who have, they might shut down the video because every time I mention something like that, they try to shut because I'm already seeing it. Hesitate. I don't want to scare some of you too, but yeah, your abilities are coming online. Yeah, this cloaker is. Yeah, but you don't even know that you're doing it. And some of you are doing it without knowing it. Some of you don't want to be seen. So I can't talk about this online. When some of you come to the, we'll discuss some of these things. What's going to be great about the event that I'm holding in July 14th is we can have these conversations face to face, because a lot of this information I can't, it's not that I can't say it, and it's not that but a lot of it gets shut down, and I don't want people to be found because there's a lot of issues. So not even on Patreon, I share a lot of stuff, which some of that came on here, which wasn't purposefully. Patreon, I share things, but face to face, I can share certain things because the abilities, they took 2 people we knew to the My Lab. I don't want to scare you, and I gotta keep it real with you. They take people. The men in black come for you, especially when your abilities are really heightened. We are in home court advantage, but remember, we're at the beginning stages. When people start coming online too quickly, too easily, too fast, they have technology that actually has sensors that detects influxes in the magnetic field, and they know where you are, and they will come and get you. That's why I don't like to discuss it. I don't want to put anybody in danger. Do you understand what I mean? And this is real life. I'm a sober, like I always have to say during my lives, I'm sober, I'm drug-free, I don't drink, I don't smoke anything, I do 0 drugs. I'm drinking tea, and I occasionally drink coffee, which you already know. That's as far as it goes. Okay, so I just want to say that to you because I just want you to know. But they do have, yes, Skittles. They do. They have the technology to be able, it happens. A lot of times targeted individuals have this issue where they know what they are. And then when you're a targeted individual, they'll put out low field in the hood. It's just like in the hood. In the hood, they have low elf waves that they purposefully put in the hood to suppress the consciousness and also the vibrational patterns of people in the hood. That's why when they start to really amp up during summertime, when people's energies are really high, they put the low elf waves on super, super low. And that's when you see a lot of fights happen in the summer in the hood. You ever notice that? Like in the summertime, everybody wants to fight. People are amped up. That's the technology they're using to lower the field so it messes with you so that you don't come online. Sunshine makes you come online. The more sun you get, you come online. Okay? So that's why they keep it cool. Remember, the Draconians like it cold. All these cold fronts are unnatural. Someone told me in New York City, my mate was telling me he was in New York, and he said it was warm one day. It was like 60 or 70 degrees, and it dropped down to 30. That's not natural. That's not a natural occurrence in nature. Nature gradually does things. When they're lowering the heat, the planet all used to be tropical. The reason why you had dinosaurs or reptiles living on the entire planet is because the whole planet was tropical. The cold weather came with the Ice Age. The Ice Age was purposefully a geoengineered way, like putting people in a petri dish to bring in a new field of genetically modified beings who were more cohesive for the cooler weather. It's a fact. And you're going to be like, oh, FleurBrun's going. Just look it up. Look it up. They brought in the cooler weather to deal with different beings that were not used to hot weather. Okay, so when they brought in the newer introduction, they introduced all of us. We're all hybrids. So whenever they introduce a new hybrid or genetically modified organism, they make the temperature, they geoengineer the weather, just like being in a little globe, and then they introduce the new beings to the planet with a more cohesive temperature for them. But now we're back in first cycle, a new cycle, where the temperatures are going back to what 3 suns would bring. It's heat. It's going to be fire on the yard. So the whole surface of the planet is going to be hot. That's why they have everybody mixing, because everybody has to get ready and get that melanin online to be able to deal with that heat. And most people won't even be on the surface, even if they have melanin. Okay, it's just what it is. So the temperature going from 70 to 30 is not natural. The real temperature it's meant to be right now is 70 on every country, every Canada, Even in Europe, it's meant to be hot. They're purposefully lowering it because draconians and other entities cannot deal with the heat. They're trying to keep it down until they get the heck out of Dodge. It was snowing in Las Vegas. Exactly, Pure Beauty. Many of you see, when you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, see when the solidification comes, you see that is it normal for it to snow in this parts of California in the mountains. Yes, it does snow up there. That is fact. But that does happen. So I don't want to make it seem like it's impossible. It does snow in the mountains in California on the peaks because it's higher up. But it drops in temperature, and that's it's a detail that there are beings here, especially if you get beings that are traveling. If you get a troop, I don't want to give you nightmares. Okay, I'm going to give you nightmares. If you can handle this, listen, turn off if you can't handle this, because I don't want to scare anybody and you can't sleep. But there are troops of draconians that travel. And when their troops travel, they lower the temperature wherever they're going. So wherever they're going, you'll usually see a dip in temperature, but it'll usually go geographically on ley lines. So you'll see one time in North Carolina, it'll be freezing cold, and they'll warm up the next day, and then South Carolina is cold. It's because there's a troop of draconians. I don't want to, yeah. There's troops of beings that travel that require for lower temperatures. Okay, they have suits, they have things that they wear on them to help them, but a lot of times, especially if they're soldiers or drones, they need the temperature to be cohesive. Okay, just like there are beings who cannot deal with magnetic energy. The sun is going to bring magnetic energy. Why do you think all these beings are leaving through stargates and going into the inner earth? Because they cannot tolerate. The tall whites talk about, listen to Rudolph of Germany. Big up to Rudolph of Germany. A lot of you don't tolerate his videos, but he tells you the truth. They cannot tolerate magnetic energy. He says when he gets magnetic energy, when it gets closer to places that's it's a high amount of magnetism, he gets tired and he gets drawn. He gets drawn out. He told you. I can't even make that up. The tall white aliens talk about that. It bothers them. So, yeah, if I'm not, listen, I don't, people ask, am I pro Rudolph of Germany? I'm not pro anything. I appreciate when any being tells you who they are. I appreciate when beings let you know who they are. That is, yes, melanin is being priced at $3.53 a gram. It is a fact. Why do you think all the organs are being harvested? I told you that the ETs from the future are taking melanated beings and taking their organs to try to repair their genomes in the future. And also beings here are taking melanin to be able to deal with the high magnetic energy and the third sun. The two suns are already out. There's pictures all over. Years ago, people were like, oh, and I remember my Nazi was outside while I was taking pictures. Many of you who knew me on my regular Facebook already knew because I took pictures. But I'm just letting you know that the second sun is already fully in bloom, you can see it. Before it was like a little speck. Now the third is very tiny. Once it comes online, the pole shift, the whole planet is going to be hot. And it's going to be almost unpermissible to live on the surface of the planet. That's why even with melanin, if you're not a certain type of melanin, it will burn you. Even when I went outside, what was it, last year during the summer, the sun, well, first of all, we don't even know what's in the sky. Let's detail that because there's a lot of holograms going on. Be mindful of that. So, I'm just stating that as a sidebar. But the fact of the matter, there are three suns. Yes, there is. Yeah, it is. It is a fact. Go look at, again, when you think that FleurBrun is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you too can go and Google anywhere on YouTube or otherwise and look at the two suns that is seen. And then look at the third sun that you can see from Siberia. Also, I think somewhere else, you can see the third sun and you can see it fully in the sky. So if you think that I'm off in any way, I say verify. I always say, don't believe anything I say. I could be all kinds of cuckoo. Go and verify everything I say. That's why I'm unconcerned. That's why many people will still rock with me because anything that I say, I vested out. I'm one of those. Uh-oh. Education, you back? Is education back? Education, you behaving yourself? Education? We were talking about you. North Florida, yeah, just be mindful. Anyway, so the battle is on. It's on a poppin'. You behave in good education. I appreciate when you behave yourself. It makes it so much more cohesive. You're in South Florida. Just take the signs, okay? So listen to my Floridians. I'm in Florida too. You already know I'm planning the exodus to go to Brazil. That's going to be fully within the next. Remember, I'll be in Brazil. Hopefully, I'll solidify a wonderful space in Brazil, and then over a matter of 4 to 5 years, I'll be there fully. So, I'm not escaping anything. I'm just going. If you know I'm a Sagittarius too, you already know I'm a traveler. So regardless of anything, I would probably do regardless. I use excuses to go travel. Oh, there's a pole shift. Let's go to Brazil. Something is getting cold. Let's go to Africa. I do things like that naturally. So regardless of anything, I'm not leaving anybody. I'm extending myself. I'm relocating to a warm tropical place where the Amazonians will exist. And I plan to be part of that sect. FleurBrun, how can we stop them chasing us in their dream? How do you stop them chasing you? Turn around and face them. Okay? The running propels beings to sometimes chase you. It's like a dog that will chase a person who runs. If you stand your ground, you'll notice that they will have an issue. I've learned that in the art of fighting. People like, does FleurBrun fight? Like I said, you meet me at the door. However you come for me is how I come for you. So I always state this. I come at peace and I come for war, depending on what. But if something is chasing you, I've learned this in the art of anything, unless they have weaponry that you cannot handle. But generally in the ether, you have access to your higher self. You have access to your higher ability. Who you are intrinsically shows up in the ether. So there's no need for you to run. Turn around, face those mofos, and ask them what they want. And go toe to toe. You have what's necessary. Stand and fight. The running propels certain beings. Parasites like that because they feed off of the fear and the frenzy. You have to, if you don't want to feed them, don't give it to them. Fear is unnecessary. You are an infinite being. You will always be here. If you see FleurBrun not here, I'm going to be here somewhere else. Yeah, stand your ground. That's all it is. Do what you do. And even in, like, when people test you, and again, I grew up in New York, and I grew up with remember, my family's very island. They're very sweet people. I didn't grow up with fighters in my household. Don't get it twisted. I grew up with really sweet island people. I did, but I was being reared around beasts who didn't care that I came from sweet people and peaceful people. I grew up around beasts that would come test me. And they would test me, and I would cry, or I would run, and eventually I learned to stand my ground. And you guess what? Did they come for me anymore? No. And they were scared when I stood my ground. But I had to learn that. So maybe that's something you have to go through. But eventually you stand your ground. And I learned that. And I learned that in art of fighting. And again, if it's fair, if it's fair. If it's fair and there's no weaponry. Because a lot of times I always tell people, you're punk. If you come to a fight, fist fight, and you come in with weapons, you're a punk. A lot of these young people don't know anything about honor. Because at the end of the day, I used to see kids fight, hit, fight, punch, and they get over it and they be friends again. Now you punks come to the fight trying to kill somebody, murder somebody. Why would you do that? It makes no sense. It shows your mentality. It shows how insecure and how punk you really are. You don't have to go to a fight like that. A lot of times things can be resolved verbally and then body to body. That's where I've learned. I'm kind of like that. If you want to compare me to what kind of ET I would represent on the Enterprise, I come from Klingons. I'm a Klingon. I'm being honest. If you had we always have these discussions in the ET thing. They were like, what kind of ET would you? I'm a Klingon. That's how I roll. Even in mating, I mate with males that could toe to toe with me. I'm serious. That's the kind of mate I am too. If you can handle me, then we're all good. But if you can't even handle me verbally, physically, there's no reason why we should mate. Why would I do that to myself? I have self-esteem. I'm a Klingon. Word. Yeah, you're a Vulcan. See what I'm saying? Pick who you are. That's who I represent. I'm like a Klingon. Yeah. Yeah, back in the days, people fought. I used to see kids fight all the time. Boys fight, get dirty, get their sneakers and stuff dirty. They just fight, and you know what? After like a week, they're friends again. You know what I mean? We have to understand, even with the children. Like, you have to understand, there's a process sometimes of, of course we go through, an exchange of egos, and that's natural, and children test each other, and I think that's healthy. I really do. I think sometimes you have to learn boundaries and how to create boundaries, and sometimes by evading other people's boundaries, you learn things about yourself and them. So I think there's an ultimate respect, but I think, our culture is really being driven by some dark entities that are perpetuating, low field, deprived conscious levels, and it disallows for healthy exchange between young people. Like I said, all this stuff with the gangbanging stuff, a lot of the times these young men in different sects, they would get along with one another. To be honest, they would just get along with one another. They'd fight, maybe they wouldn't, but there would be an ultimate respect. Like, I fought you last week, I beat your butt, you got whipped, like in Panther. The Monkey King. What was his name? I forgot. I like him. He's my type. I like those brawny, strong. Yeah, I liked him. The Monkey King. I liked him a lot. If there's a type that FleurBrun likes, that's that strong kind of like you like the barker. I love that. Mabuka. I liked him. Mabuka. Oh, he was yeah. I didn't care. He was. I liked his whole. I loved his strength. I liked his, that virile kind of, it's my type. That's my thing. But anyway, like, we would have that. You see the men battle, but at the end of the fight, he said, you still have to support your kingdom. You still have people who are looking for you for support. And they ended it. But look at the end when he, woof, as I said, but look at the end when the Panther fell. Now listen, you see how karma has it? He saved his life. Listen to me, family. And this is why I say we want to live another day to see that recycling of karma in a beautiful way. He fought the Panther. He lost. The Panther saved, gave him his life, Then the Panther fights another one who did not. He falls off the cliff. And this same man whose life he saved extended that same, that same extension of life and gave it back to him. And this is why I'm saying sometimes we have to allow for these things to occur in a natural way, without guns, without weapons. I don't joke with you. I mean, I'm a woman. So remember, I'm equipped to deal with battle. But with me, if I battle someone bigger and badder who has an unfair advantage, I have the right to protect myself with whatever tools necessary that will allow me to extend my bloodline and myself. Okay? So when I have to go to tools, is because I have somebody has an unfair advantage. And a lot of these big burly men who are beating up women, who are going around hitting on women and threatening them, if women had the protection or the tools necessary, then these men wouldn't feel as strong and powerful as they are, just trying to stronghold them or strong arm them. You know what I mean? So I think every woman should be prepared. And like I said, every mothership has all equipment accessible to her to be able to prepare herself for battle. And if you accept that, then these weak men, exactly, thank you. Oh, what weak? What a weak man. Yeah, education. These weak men who hurt women wouldn't feel so strong if they felt they would be, even though she's smaller or maybe she doesn't have as much physical apparatus, that he would be met with force in some way. Like, I know dudes who are really punk who would hit a woman, but when confronted by another man, he won't confront the man. He'll nature knot. Nature knot is one. Nature knot has been known to beat on the women at the thing and yell at them and scream at them, but he ain't doing that with other dudes. You don't see him doing that when he was with the cops and they were in the bus and he was like, "Oh, I love you," to the officer that was about to yoke him while his homeboy was getting his face pummeled in. He wasn't that kind of dude, but he was quick to put his hands on women, right? But as soon as a man confronted him, he wasn't like that. These tools are meant for those punks. You see? Because if he would have came to my face and he would have put his hand anywhere near me and I would have felt threatened, he would have been dealt with. And I bet you he wouldn't have disrespected another sea star again. I bet you he would back up the next time he saw another sea star and he thought it was going to come test her. See, this is a problem. Some of you women, you need to check these males so they don't go and violate other females. Because once you check him, he ain't going to feel so comfortable checking another girl. Oh, my dog is here. I'm just saying, we let a lot of these things slide, and then we allow for, he said those skinny jeans. Education said, yeah, you can't do much in skinny jeans. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, sometimes we have to pony up. Listen, as mothers, and most of you on here are mothers or going to be mothers. We know this. As many mothers, we have to show how to engage with the world so that we teach our offspring how to engage as well. If I'm not doing my job as a mother, if I allow my offspring to see me in a defeatist mode, because it will only create more dissension or a lack of self-esteem in my own offspring. If I want them to propel and I want them to be successful, I have to show up in the world that shows up successfully, that shows them strength. There's no other person that will show your children strength more than a mother. Fathers do it, but a mother does it best. That is the first person who establishes self-esteem in their children is the mother. I'm just saying. So we got to show up. So whatever you need to do, sea stars, however you need to show up in the world, you just protect yourself and you do things with integrity. Never come for anyone until they come for you. If they come for you, then you take care of business. You protect yourself, your offspring, and your home. But other than that, let it be. That's what I'm saying. If they don't start, no won't be. Now, I'm as sweet as pie so long as you come at me that way. But if you come with fire, I'm going to bring the brimstone. I'm going to bring torches, and I'm going to bring what's necessary. I'm going to bring the dragon to drag your behind until I get respected. So that's all. I want to give strength to our sea stars. Like I said, you see FleurBrun eating grapes off her tatas. Yeah, I do weird things. I see them all. I plant. I love my animals. Yes. But at the end of the day, I want to extend my strength to you because I want you to know that you have all necessary. The mothership has all the necessary tools. She comes with it to deal with battle. So for no uncertain terms, do you ever feel that somebody has something over you? If they threaten your life and your peace of mind, you have a right to hold your ground and protect yourself. And by all means, you do so with integrity, meaning that you don't want to go overboard. I don't say go low below. I mean, you know, people will test you, people will poke at you because they want to incite you. Okay, so sometimes they'll do that to incite you, to make you act out of sorts. I've seen that a lot of times. A lot of people do that. They'll poke at you on the back leg to incite you, to make you act out of sorts. Always hold your composure. But when it comes to face-to-face threats, by all means, do you protect yourself and you protect your peace of mind. And you show your children, male and female. Listen to me, sea stars, male and females. Please don't deny the females the right to protect themselves, and it doesn't make them manly. Do not listen to a man who tells you that you're protective of yourself and your offspring, that you're a man. A mother is a mother, regardless if a male is present or not. That single mother notion is a patriarchal term meant to make you feel less for standing on your own 2 feet. There is nothing in nature that doesn't mother and needs another entity to help her do it. A brown bear that gives birth to both males and females can take care of both brown male and female. A lioness can take both care of both of her female and male babies, and those babies will be fine as long as the mother is fine. So please leave these pseudo gangster, Nazi, mind control, low field, narcissist comments, and let them know that if they come for you, that they will be met. at least at the same level as they're meeting for you, or more if they come with a little extra. And if you can't do it, make sure you surround yourself with people who love you and who are strong. Like I told you, Yoga Tom is not coming during the pole shift. He's going to be meditating, hoping that he can manifest a different reality. But Bobcat Tom, or Tyrone who's been kickboxing and doing Tai Chi and Qigong and has worked the levels of balancing both light and dark. Tyrone is going to come to the table being able to handle what comes at him. So make sure your posse is appropriate to the type of dynamics of a person you are. So if you have both light and dark, like I tell you, I have both light and dark. I chose a warrior to mate with. I chose somebody who can go toe to toe with me, who can hold his own in light and dark. He's as sweet as a pie. He's a sweetheart, but he is lethal as any other being, any other warrior who has a necessary mindset to deal with whatever's needed to deal with, adversity. As far as adversity is, especially because me. See, you got a partner, see a packer. You just be balanced. Like if you listen, and I'm not disrespecting any yoga toms. I'm keeping it 1,000. There's nothing wrong with having a calm, wonderful disposition and light. But our world is not just light. Our world is a spectrum of different degrees of light. So based on that, you have to be balanced with those possibilities and plausibilities of coming in contact with that. And that's what you have. Yes, being both. That's all. Spectrum is cable. A cable. What comes through a cable? Electricity. Anyway, family, I know I've gone, thank you for joining me today for another rant. I come fire and brimstone sometimes, fire in the yard. So what did you say? Please, FleurBrun, talk about Cali, the hexagon formation made when the first half, when hail first started to fall. It naturally made little hexagons all over the ground, like like lights in the sky I saw a few months ago. Interesting. Kinky curl. I have to look at it more, Kinky Curls. I have to look at it more. Like I said, I always like to talk to you from a position of knowledge. I would only speculate at this point. I have to look at the videos. I have to field it out. I have to see what time it happened. I need to see if there was any correlation between this happening now and last year at this particular time. Sometimes things happen planetarily. So maybe last year, this time, something similar happened. I do things like that because I want to make sure that I see from all angles. That's just a personality I have. I know that there's a field of ships. There were ships, a lot of UFOs in North California before the hail. I know that happened. So because of that, I need to look. So I will only speak from a position where I feel more confident about the topic. I really don't know. I know that it happened. I know that it's something going on, but I can't say. Okay, I don't know. So maybe on Thursday's show when I do the Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate, maybe I'll get into it. FleurBrun, I think a lot of sisters still feel they need a man, needing a man. It's okay. I understand that. Untitled Sensei. I don't think that they think they need a man. I think that they feel like they need support. Okay. I think a lot of times we place wrong labels on an ideology that does exist, and it is something that actually makes sense. I think sea stars feel like they need a man because they lack support. I've personally seen when sea stars come together collectively, and I'm not talking about sexual disposition. I'm talking about sea stars, like a little clump of sea stars that support each other. I noticed that they have less of a necessity to have men necessarily come in. Like they don't feel that need as much. Do you know what I mean? They're not driven by that need. I think a lot of times that need is coming from a lack of, we don't sit in communities where we have a lot of support. in our villages when we were younger, we had our grandmothers, we had our aunties, we had sisters, we had everything. We had a community and husbands and sons. We had that. I think we're lacking in that communicative type of connection. And I think it shows up in unnatural ways, what we perceive to be a need for males. The only time, and I think I could be honest with everyone here, because you know me well, and I speak I speak from the heart. The only time that I crave I love male companionship. Remember, I had parents and family who stayed married. My father just passed away last year. My mother and father were married almost 60 years. So I come from that. I do. I come from that net. But what I found is, as I become more seasoned, I rid of myself of my Nazi, because he was a Nazi and he was unhealthy for me. And I'm grateful for the boot camp that he gave me so I could get to this point. But I found that I craved males more so when I was in heat. I'm being honest. I'm going to keep it real with you, because I keep it 1,000. And women don't know when they go into heat that they're really craving for reproducing, for creating babies. Like, they're having cravings to have children. So we don't talk about that much, because we always put things in such a low sexual way. So a lot of times, a lot of us crave male companionship when we're in heat. When I say in heat, like an animal, we do go through those. I have that cycle that goes from March to October. I told you. That's when I'm in mating season. I've disclosed that before. When I'm in search, or I'm open, receptive. Let's just say I'm not searching. I'm receptive for a mate to have that. Now, I'm okay. I love companionship, but it's not the same craving. I crave males sometimes for that reason. It's like you're in heat. Your body is craving them to have sexual liaisons for procreation. And we don't speak about that. Nobody speaks about that. It seems very low field. It's really not. It's part of who we are. Cold shower. No, it's nature. Men go through those things too. Nobody knows that men also have a cycle of going through. What do they call? Men, when they get a little older, they go through. What is it called? Like when women post. Oh goodness. Post menses. When a post menses. Premenopausal. Okay, men also go through premenopause. That's why before men go through like their menopause, it's called midlife crisis. They call it that, but it actually starts in their 40s, late 30s to 40s. Men go through that. Yeah, they go through that, and nobody talks about that. And that's an actual occurrence, and it causes their mind to think differently. It lowers their their testosterone. It makes them more emotionally imbalanced. No one speaks to that. So, when I talk about things like this, please, we're grown adults, and you should know things about yourself and body. So when women have cravings, a lot of times it's not necessarily what we think it is. Sometimes it's more primal, meaning that it's our body's way of craving. Because a lot of times there's some women who don't like mating out of mating season when they're not in heat. There's some women who don't like to mate in certain seasons, in certain times, and they think that they're not sexual. It's not that. It's because their clock is on a certain schedule. And we have to acknowledge this. You know what I mean? Most mothers, we kind of know that because we've gone through the process of giving birth, and we kind of read our bodies a little differently since we've gone through this gestational process. But, it's mating season. I have mating season from March to October, and I enjoy it. And I don't mate. And when I'm saying sexual, I'm not sexually involved with separate men, but I'm open and receptive to males. For that reason, I feel more invested, like I feel more receptive. I even look differently. My skin changes, my body becomes more alluring. It's true. I become more attractive to males during that time as well. Yeah. So you said pregnancy seems cruel to me. No, it's a beautiful process. Pregnancy is a humbling, beautiful spiritual process. It's one of the most beautiful process that it evolves a woman's consciousness, especially if she's healthy. Yeah, makes her more spiritually invested. I crave men at night. That's the only time I desire them. Well, it's more sexually invested. I mean, that's something different, and that changes. If you had a male all the time, you may not crave him just at night. You would just not have a craving at all. Oh, I'm sorry. We talk about things. This is my feel now. As far as that's concerned, this is what I know to be. I just, I'm honest. Listen, I tell you things that I'm honest. Do you respond? Do you even respond to white people or just your own race? Elizabeth, who? Do I respond to white people or just my own race? What do you mean respond to white lunars? What do you mean respond? Do you mean sexually? Is that what you're talking about? I listen. I can find beauty in everyone and everything. I respond to everyone. So as far as that, but sexually, as far as mating, is that what you're talking about? Oh, generally, okay. I was about to say mating. Do not answer that, Fleur. No, I respond to everyone. Why wouldn't I respond? That's not what I'm asking, but okay. Yeah, no, I respond to everyone. As far as talking to, I respond to everyone. Everyone is obviously part of our famille. I respond to anyone who inquires to talk to me or communicate with me. Yeah. Yeah, I respond to alpacas. Yeah, I respond to everyone. She thought you ignore white. Oh no, 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 no. I respond to everyone. If I see the comments on here, no. And you will see me respond to everybody's comments. But if I see response on here, remember the comments go so fast a lot of times. Remember when you guys are writing on here, I can only see the comments come fairly. They come quickly sometimes, unless you guys are not many people are commenting. Oh no! As far as mating, I mate with males that look like me. Okay, that's all. Everyone asks my mating preferences. I mate with males who look like me. I mate with males who are OGs, who are my same blood type. Okay, so that's just where I'm at. I have an affinity for males from the Caribbean who come from the same gene pool who look like me. So I have that balance between the two. Yeah, so that's all. Am I attracted to other males? I'm attracted to attractive males, but who I respond to as far as mating, I respond to males who mirror my physicality, who mirror myself. That's all. It doesn't denote, love for self doesn't negate someone else. I don't negate other people who look differently because I look at handsome men all the time, lunars, um, um, Asiatic men from the Middle East. I meet all different men, as you know, and I can find them very attractive. But as far as who I mate with, this is just who I mate with, who I am. So that's all. And if you look at my mate now, some of you know him on Facebook. We look alike. it's a, it's he reminds me of my dad. He reminds me of my father a little bit, which my father was the most loving man in my life ever. And that's why I have this disposition. If you like my disposition, you should thank my father. My father loved me, and he was my everything. So the way that I've been loved by my dad and my mother, it extends to how I mate and how I meet mates. So my partner now, my mate, is very much he reminds me of my father, especially my father passed. So even when he talks, he reminds me of my dad. And it's not some sort of incestuous thing. It's just a beautiful. It's relatively related to having a connection to someone on a genetic basis. Where does the word lunar come from? I say lunars because it's a word that I just equate European people to lunars. I just said that statement. That's how I call it. It's a loving statement to me. It's something that I call Europeans lunars. It's a statement that I kind of created, but it comes from a loving place. So hopefully it's not disrespectful. If it's disrespectful, then it's not intended to be. But it just comes from a place of, it comes from an honorable place. Is that like the moon? No, lunars is just, remember, light shows up in different spectrums. People who have, remind me of that light from the moon, from the light of the moon, remind me of Europeans, the way that they look, the energy that they hold. That's all. So I just stated it like that, you know. Like I don't call all brown people the same. Like some brown people consider themselves Moors. I call them Moors. Some people consider themselves carbon beings. I call them carbon beings. I consider myself a copper being, a copper brown being, an indigenous, you know? So everybody likes to call themselves by different names, but I don't mean to insult. If it's insulting to you, by all means, it's not intended. Yeah, you know, I think I always, and I have nicknames for everything and everyone. Okay, so yeah, I have nicknames. If you know me too, I have nicknames for everyone. So it's really not. It's kind of in my personality too. Like even people I meet, I give them nicknames. It's just what I do. So it's, you know, that's. But again, if that's a term that bothers you, it's not intended. Melanated, I call people melanated, nine ether. Yeah, this I really give whatever people honorably like to be generally considered, or I note them to be connected to. I generally say it like that. I personally don't like to use words like European or African because it really is not true. Not all Europeans are from Europe. Not all brown people are from Africa. So why would I call people Africans, and why would I call people, you know, Europeans who are not from Europe? You know what I mean? You know, it's kind of, you know, it's disturbing to say that sometimes. And I'm moving on. Elizabeth said moving on. Anyway, family. All right, I'm off. I already got one on my rant. I apologize. Hopefully this video was helpful, gave a little strength to especially our young sea stars. I always like to give a little bit of a little don't go, I gotta go. I always like to give a little bit to our young. I feel vested in, and you know, I think it was, like I said, it was always my disposition. I always feel invested in our younger sea stars just because I feel like they need that. They need the support. I think a lot of times, even when I was young, I would have liked to have a sea star that was a little more seasoned, that I felt like I could relate to. Because a lot of times you may feel sea stars that are more seasoned and they don't relate to you. I feel relatable to my younger sea stars. I really do. But I feel very motherly with them and cuddling. So I want to extend that to them as well, the strength and the fortitude that maybe they're not getting, especially when you're talking about ETs, metaphysics, occult. A lot of times people are stigmatized, or you can't have this conversation, and you still need the mothering, you still need the support system. So I do that. Okay, so this is what I do. And like I said, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So I would say whoever comes here, comes here. You know, nobody's forced to come to our platform. And I say our platform because we created this. So like I said, when we have our discussions here, it's not for everybody. So I always say, I actually appreciate when people put dislikes because it really shows how much they do like me. The dislikes actually show, because there's nothing I really talk about that could really be insulting. Unless when I'm talking about Nature Not, you know, his minions get offended when I talk about them. But other than that, you know, it's really, you could be here or you don't have to be here. That's our platform's really personable. And I'm a mom. I tell you all day, I'm a mom. And if I see you, I'm real motherly. So it's what I hold. I like my coffee like I like my men. Alpaca. Actually, I do. I like my coffee caramel color. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I won't kill the frequency. Exactly. Let me keep the frequency high. Anyway, so family, I hope you have a wonderful day. You have any questions? Let's see. Fleur, I started watching you 3 to 4 weeks ago. You have a very powerful aura, feminine presence. I am thankful I found your channel, although I do not believe as you do. That's okay. Oh, I appreciate that, Organica. A lot of stuff. Not everybody here agrees with everything. Listen, my family, we agree to disagree. Some things we don't agree with all the time. Yeah, we agree. Some things some people agree with, and some people don't. But it's okay. You know, we all have different perspectives, and that's what I love. I love the fact that our family, like even when even on on FleurBrun Cipher, someone threw a picture of who is it? Beyonce and her daughter. So the comments went ham. And there's some people who were just diehard Beyonce fans, and they came in, but they're family, so we already know each other's personality. So when the people get offended that we're talking about Beyonce, and the dynamics of her and her daughter, then those who come in who really really love her come in, and it's zero hate. It's all love. You know what I mean? It's like, we understand how you feel. I know that you love her. All right. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. And I appreciate that dynamic. We can't all be perfectly the same. We're not biobots. We're not syntheticas. We're not created to be the same. We're created to be different. And for that reason, we should allow for that. So your opinion shouldn't be mine. Sometimes we'll meet on the same ground. Sometimes we won't. And it's okay. We have agreeables and disagreeables. I agree, Silk Fox. Exactly. It's all good in the hood. Anyway, I'm out. It's 3:00. I gotta go, and I'm raw for the next. What'd you say about Carrie? You at FleurBrun, you have done an interview. Have you ever done an interview with Carrie Cassidy? If not, would be quite a. Carrie Cassidy does not want me on her show. If you know me, many of you know me from that before, but one of my first notable videos was going ham on Carrie Cassidy for not talking about the brown ETs. I want toe to toe on her. I have a lack of respect for her. If she had me, I go on anyone's show. I will hold there will be no pre-talking me, pre-interviews. I'll go on anyone's show. She can interview me anytime. It just won't happen because she hides too much. See, I will test people's information because remember, I'm about this life. You heard my shows. I'm not pretending to be with ETs. I'm not pretending to be an ET contactee. This is 1000. So when you get on platforms with people who are pretending to be whistleblowers and they're really not, and then they get somebody who really is about that life, they're not going to have them on the show. I'm open to it. Her and Kelly Coffee. That I just doubt I'll ever get an invitation. I go on everybody's show. Most shows I go on an interview. I've had some Islamic shows I've gone on to, some more shows. Yeah, I could hold my own, Sea Stars. Like I said, I hold my own. So I go on every show. And because I'm pretty well vested and pretty well I'm secure in how I show up in the world, I don't mind going to different platforms. The only time you won't see me on things like Sonetta, who's a Satanist. That's the only, let me state that. I will stay away from Satanist platforms. Yeah, that I'll do. Satanists, generally you won't see me on Satanist platforms because their whole world is way different. Their whole world is different. There's something going on there that I can't really get down with. Yeah. So if it's a Satanist platform like Sonnet and so on, nah. But again, I would, for the sake of freeing people's minds from Satanists, because I'll blow their spot on the couch. I'll be like, do you realize that your colors are Satanist? Do you realize that I know that you're having sexual rituals in the park of Central Park, and I heard about you taking advantage of Sea Star? So I'll blow everybody's spot. Nobody wants me on the show because I won't hold my tongue. Because I don't have to. 0 of them pay for my bills. See, this is the thing when you're free. I have 0 people paying. See, when you get paid by these beings, then you have to keep quiet. 0 people pay my bill. I'm comfortable. So because I'm seated in a comfortable position, I can be truthful. If I'm being paid or taken care of by a lot of these beings, I could not be as overtly free in how I come out in the world. So that's why I'm okay to be honest. That's why you won't see me coming out to UFO conferences, because a lot of these beings are full of ish. They're not contactees. I'm not here to blow spots, but I'm here to say, if you're about that life, you should be about that life. It should not be a business of you to confuse people or tell them certain things so that you can make money to perpetually uphold the lie. If you're about if you're a contactee, then you should be a contactee, and you should have other contactees come on the platforms, not the same people over and over and over again who are telling you stories that are untrue. And we know they're untrue. Okay, so, anyway, I'm welcome. Carrie Cassidy, you're welcome to have me on the show, but I know you won't because I don't like you. Anyway, family, let me stop. Don't have me blowing up spots again. I calm down. I calm down. Let me keep it cool. When I calm down, people are checking out already. All right, family. So have a wonderful day. Oh, sessions. I do sessions. You just contact me by email. I'm almost full, and remember it's springtime where I do my cultivating of seeds. Remember I'm a agriculturalist. I like to do all my seeds around March and April. That's when I usually moth. But you can contact me if you want a Kiki session. Just contact me. If I have time, I will. If not, maybe after the season's done. Okay, so it's delgoddess@gmail.com. DELGADDESS@gmail.com. It's usually on one of the videos. I usually do it. All right. But you don't have to do, like I tell people, you don't have to do a Kiki session. I give you free goodies every day. If you want personal time with me, by all means, and that goes to the sanctuary for funding for the sanctuary. But you get me for free. You know what I mean? All right, family. I'm out. I said it like 3 times. I'm gone, and have a magnificent day. Peace.